You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and we're talking to you tonight about the HBCUs partnering with Yale. And Money Mike has given his position as to I totally believe the HBCUs should partner up together because when you start partnering and you go into the Ivy League, and this is really interesting because I'm going to repeat myself, the GOP, the Republican Party needs Black America more than you can ever imagine. And where is that all coming from? As I told you before, we built America once, and we're going to build it again. But here's what you got. They're asking us, the partnership, to have them come over, the HBCUs, and teach classes. Now, this is an unheard of precedent, and Money Mike has drilled it down on the high salaries, the tenured professors. Okay, so they're trying to make this transition. And where do I stand on it? It will dilute the HBCUs. It's going to dilute you. There's no way you can retain because the divide and conquer has been going on for a long time. And if we divide, we're going to suffer. Now, if Yale and Harvard and all the Ivy Leagues want to come in and say, hey, look, we want to help you, then they can help by putting the infrastructure back into the HBCUs. See, Money Mike's going to tell you a little different. I'm going to go the opposite way because I know for a fact in all my years of corporate enterprise business, the university's models are broken. They're facing a huge deficit, and we're rising into a technology and speculation that we have no idea what the outcome's going to be. So if anybody could sit back and project the next 1, 3, or 5 years integration of AI and the technology and what's going to go into space. Now, a lot of this, Yale and Harvard, they're going to be looking at the defense when you talk about space because that's what you got. But at the end of the day, I can tell you this. America needs Black America more than you can ever believe. The only challenge with this is America does not know how to ask Black America or share how badly we need your help. There's a gap in deficit of technology. There's a gap in deficit of creativity. And there's a gap in deficit of the millennials who are going to college and have went to college without an identity, without having any African-American professors there. There are few. Okay, but here's what happens when you have a few. You have others who are not really looking at promoting or life coaching that student. So here's what happens at the end of the day. The student comes back. He's in debt. He's trying to get a job, and it's just turned out completely negative. So here comes the Ivy Leagues. The Ivy Leagues are coming in, and they're saying, hey, we're here to help you. You come teach us. We want all your knowledge. Okay, now I can't believe this for the world of me. Okay, because that would be the same as Dr. Gay coming back over to the HBCUs, and I'm going to bring all that knowledge. So why don't we do a partner exchange where you have all the African Americans that are at the HBCUs or who are there at the Ivy League schools? Why don't you send them back over to the HBCUs and let them do some teaching, and you can do some partnering there. But when you're diluting the asset, the University of Historical Black Colleges, folks, that's going to be challenging because we have the knowledge, we have been chosen, and we are God gifted, and it has come into realization because they are not able to figure out how to integrate the technology and the resources and how to actually function as an AI society. So they're coming to our culture, and they're going to come in as the Asian culture is here. And they're going to also have to come to the Hispanic culture. But the GOP, the Republicans, do not know how to ask. This is a Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and I'm just bringing it to you to let you know. When I see something like this, and I've been around for 60 years, I've lived through all the Republican presidents. I already shared it didn't matter if it's Nixon, Lyndon B. Johnson. You get into Reaganomics, you're going to get into George Bush, George W. Bush, and then again, the lightest of them all is Donald Trump. And I tell you, I read his book many years ago. So here's the deal with what's going on. They're coming. They're offering money. Okay, but here's what corporate America does. They're very unique on how they offer things. They're going to offer it in an area that will not reach the core or the discipline or the foundation of the HBC universities, which means their infrastructure, their buildings, and they also need their own bank. And here's why you need your own bank is because at the end of the day, you can take all of the resources that you have in Black America, and we spend more than any other culture in America. So if we're spending more, what would we do if we put all that money in the bank, and then the HBCUs can borrow that money to repair the infrastructure? And once they do that, now they're paying back interest, which is going to cycle back into the system. And you know what? You go to the GOP, and the Republicans understand this. This is not confusion to them. However, nobody's asking. There is no partnership, okay? There's such a generational wealth gap between the Ivy League students and the Black American students and the Black American professors. So now you're going to go in there and have us teach the billionaires how to be successful. This is the most unique thing I've ever seen, but I do know it's a Hail Mary, and Money Mike's bringing it to you. So we're going to keep following this story, but there's, the Connecticut NAACP. He's saying the same thing. By you partnering, diluting in us, we are not going to be successful. So you're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and we'll be back, and we're going to follow this one out. But I truly believe the HBCUs need to partner together. You need to go in there and partner with St. Augustine, and you need to do the restoration, because God is a God of restoration. And you have done such great work that now they are calling on you. And man, the HBCU as administration, they work their tails off. They do multiple hats. If there's an event, they're working that. If there's a game or an athletic event, they're working that. They never stop working at the HBCU. So now we're going to take all of our knowledge that we had to accumulate over a long history of time of fighting for education to go give that wealth of knowledge away. I'm not a fan of it. There's a different way unless you're giving us a bank or you're giving us money, a grant to redo all our infrastructure, because the endowment money that the Ivy League gets can cover all of the HBCUs. I'm going to stop right there, but I'll continue on it later because this is a very interesting story. And I want to tell you, this is Yale. They have everything. We have nothing, but they're willing to say, come partner with us. We'll give you some money. You teach us what you know. Once we know what you know, then we can dilute the partnership. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We'll see you soon.